Welcome to episode 169 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent and Jason here as always. And this week, we've got a big one.
Watch out. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm going to let you say it because you're a huge ass fan.
That's right.
I am too, but I mean, you're even...
We have Biff Byford from Saxon. Yes, it happened.
Finally. We're going to get to this interview here in just a bit. We're going to talk about this show. We're going to talk about a couple other things. But up front, we need to mention this episode is being sponsored by DB Concerts. Brand new sponsor here at the podcast. Very glad to have them as part of this with us.
Yes, very proud.
Yeah, DB Concerts puts on a lot of shows at the Ideal Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Doug Burgess and their crew, along with Tom Green at the Ideal, have brought some killer shows here.
Yes.
You know, we've seen a ton of them. They've had Warrant with Firehouse and Dockin, and well, those are two separate things. Dockin, and then Tom Kiefer, Winger, LA Guns recently, Lita Ford, Jack Russell's Great White. I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting, but that's all stuff that's happened just in this past year. And coming up here, they've got Striper May 30th, and our good buddies in Driver are opening that show, which I think that's a good fit.
Yes, it is. I think the crowd will love all that.
Yeah. If you're a Striper fan, you'll like Driver's sound for sure. And then they announced this at the LA Gun Show that Steelheart is going to be playing at Safari Joe's H2O, I guess that's H2O Water Park.
Yes.
Which formerly, if you're from Tulsa, that's formerly Big Splash.
Yeah, Big Splash.
And that's July 26th. And that, I believe, just cost you the ticket price of the entrance to Safari Joe's. And you get to see one of the greatest vocalists in the history of rock and roll.
Probably the greatest. I mean, well, I don't know, in the history of rock and roll, but yes, one of the...
Yeah, we can't really say the greatest, can we, about anyone?
No, yeah, because there's so many.
Everybody's going to argue.
There's so many greats, but man, this guy has got some pipes.
Yeah, can't wait for that. A couple days later, July 28th, Bisto Blanco is playing for free at IDO. And they've got Down for Five and Driver opening that show.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah. And Bisto Blanco features Chuck Garrick from Alice Cooper's band, as well as Alice Cooper's daughter, Calico Cooper.
Yes.
So get out there, check that out. And then August 18th, it's going to be a party at the IDO, because Faster Pussycat.
That's right.
That's always a fucking party. And then you've got Don Jamieson on the bill as well.
That's right.
And all of you know, Eddie Trunk in that metal show. Don Jamieson was one of the other two guys with him. He's been on a ton of podcasts, and his stand-up's great.
Yes.
Can't miss it. I mean, you don't want to miss it. And then they've got Dead Metal Society opening that show.
That's right.
It was also fantastic.
Uber drivers are going to make a lot of money that night.
Right?
You know?
Yeah, definitely. And Eddie Trunk is hosting all the shows at IDL. I'm not sure if he's hosting Bisto Blanco, but he's hosting all the other ones for sure.
Gotcha.
So yeah, DB Concerts, sponsor of this episode and many coming up.
Yes.
So first thing we want to get into here, Screaming Red Mutiny.
Yes.
A few days ago, we're fortunate enough to go over to Sprouts. He had a little gathering where he had basically did the first, listening of the new EP.
Yeah. And thanks for the invite, by the way.
Definitely. So it's quite an honor to get to hear that thing first. 6 tracks. They've released 2 of them so far, I believe. This is kind of a quick review because we're basing this off of one listen.
Yes.
While we were drinking. But we weren't drunk at the point, but you know what I'm saying.
No.
It was just like a good gathering and everybody's hanging out listening.
When I got there, it started pretty much. I got there just in time. I only had a couple beers, so I definitely know what I heard and how amazing it was. And not just saying that. It just slammed right out of the gate, and I think Sprout sounds the best he's ever sounded.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to hearing this again.
Yeah, the first thing that jumped out to me after, even just by the time the third song hit, but throughout the whole thing, was that every single song stood on its own.
Yes. With
its own feel. And I mentioned that to Tony, and he said that's what they were, hoping for. And it still sounds like Screaming Red Mutiny, but it sounds different at the same time.
It's a little heavier.
Yeah, there's several of the songs that just get really heavy.
Yes.
But it's still got that, it's always got the choruses that, have those huge melodic choruses with Sprouts singing. And, you know, some of that guitar work is just groovy and just huge.
Yeah.
You know, I just, like you said, I can't wait to hear it again to just really get into it. But this band, you know, they're better than half the bands you hear on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like...
Yeah, they need to be out there for sure.
Yeah.
And this new stuff is a testament to that, and everyone's going to hear it soon enough.
Yeah, they're having a CD release show in Tulsa at the Shrine on May 18th. Less Than Human's also going to be there.
Yes.
So you know this is going to be an amazing night.
Yep.
So, as soon as this thing comes out, we'll give you a more in-depth review when we get to really listen to it, you know, and let it soak in and all that stuff.
That's right.
But yeah, first listen, this is A+ for damn sure.
Yeah, doing good.
All right. Well, we mentioned Biff Byford up front. Last week, Judas Priest tour, the Firepower tour, rolled into Tulsa.
It sure did.
And it featured...
Long awaited.
Definitely. Yeah, because tickets went on sale like November
Tickets went on sale like in May of 98, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
And so, I mean, so this is much anticipated.
It went on sale when Damon Johnson still had Brother Kane.
No shit.
Is that what you're saying?
That's how they do these concerts these days. You know, I mean, we just bought Metallica tickets for, I think it's going to be like 2022. I think
that's right.
Fuck.
Well, Judas Priest, Saxon, and Black Star Riders.
Phenomenal show.
Yeah, absolutely. All three bands were on fire.
Yes. Absolute fire.
We're going to mention Black Star Riders here. We're going to talk about it, but we're going to talk more in depth on our next episode.
Yes.
Because we can officially announce that our next episode features Damon Johnson and Ricky Warwick from Black Star Riders.
Exactly. And we'll get more into that and their set that episode.
Yeah, we figured we'd hold it for that because it made more sense to talk more about that. But just to give you something quick, it lived up to everything I hoped, you know, and they're even heavier than, you know, you really expected them to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, they played songs from all three of their albums, and they played Jailbreak, and Jailbreak was amped up and heavier than...
Yeah, it was nice.
Than, you know, the Thin Lizzy, when they do it with Thin Lizzy. You know, just all those guys have a massive stage presence, and then you got Scott Gorham over there.
Yeah.
You know,
legend. Yeah,
you can't go wrong. And... But like I said, more on that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Coming soon. But Saxon.
You know, first off, I want to say that was a thing I heard a few different times throughout the night from different people was, you know, Saxon was my favorite, or that middle band was fucking badass.
Oh, yeah.
And it made me go, that's what I've been fucking trying to tell people for the last 10 years. No one fucking listens to me. Maybe now you'll listen. I mean, these guys are, it's insane how good they are, how amazing they are live. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I absolutely love Judas Priest.
Yes.
And I'll probably have to say that I maybe enjoyed their set a little more just because I've been a bigger fan longer than I have of Saxon. But,
I get that.
But at this show, going off of what you said, Saxon to me just sounded bigger. Mm-hmm. It sounded bigger, and it just than Judas Priest did, which is unusual for an opening band to just be on fire that much to where you're just like, man, this sounds so fucking huge. And in Priest, you know, it's a different kind of thing because, you know, Priest is more, what's the right word, like regimented or something, where it's
I get that.
The same thing, you know, it's technical. It's always like this, probably every show. But Saxon, you get a little feel of kind of the same way, but it's a little more of
That's right.
Just a rock show, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so we've seen them. You've seen them more than me, but
yeah,
seen them a few times now.
Yes.
First time I think I ever saw them was the Rocklahoma show.
Yeah, I don't count that because I was so goddamn hammered.
Right.
I don't count that one. But I mean, I was there physically.
Yeah. Then we got to see him at the Diamond Bar, or not the Diamond Bar, but Chameleon Room.
Yeah, Chameleon Room, Oklahoma City. Yeah.
With Fozzy, and then you saw him.
Oh yes,
in
Dallas,
right?
last year.
That tour they did with
UFO and Jared James Nichols. Yeah,
that's right. But yeah, I mean, so just as someone had seen him several times, was there anything about this that? you loved even more than normal, or was it?
Yeah, straight away that it was in my hometown.
Right.
I thought this is a band I'd never see in Tulsa.
Right.
And so that made it super special for me. I mean, every time I've seen him has been amazing. This was no different. I loved the new songs they did. I loved the, Secret of Flight. I mean, I just fucking, and again, and I knew what I was going to get. I knew what to expect, and that's what they brought. And just the fact that they were, 20 minutes from where I sleep was really fucking cool. So, yeah. It meant a lot.
Yeah. I forgot I was going to go with that. But, well, so what were some of your favorite tunes they played? I'm going to say up front, me, just the kickoff when they kicked off with Thunderbolt.
Yes.
And then if Wheels of Steel was just badass.
Yeah, Dallas 1 p.m.
Right.
I fucking love that song. This Town Knows How to Rock.
Yeah, that was cool.
They don't play, I mean, they play that a lot, but they don't play it every time.
Yeah.
So that was great. That was awesome.
Because he even said at the end, he's like, we got time for one more song. And then after that song, he's like, we got time for one more song.
Heavy Metal Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then they played This Town Knows How to Rock after that.
Yeah.
Saying, we got time for one more.
I mean, it's just, that band is so, they can't do any wrong right now. And for, their point in their career and, how old these guys are, you don't see that all the time. And it's just, it was really phenomenal. And there's no other place on earth that they should have been that other than on that tour,
Right.
I mean, that's a perfect tour for them. So yeah, it was great. I can't stop saying how good it was.
Yeah. I hope that kind of what you mentioned, hopefully it turned more people onto him, because Saxon's one of those bands that I think if you're into rock and metal, there's a lot of people that probably know the name but never really listen to them.
Yes.
And because they really are one of those bands that is criminally underrated.
Oh yeah. And they're way, they're from England. They're way bigger in Europe. And I think kind of their 80s stuff hurt them a little bit, and I think they'll admit that. I know Biff has said that in interviews in the past, they kind of tried to do the thing, with the goofy clothes and the, more polished songs. But the fact that they're still, and they came back up and they got over that. And as you can see, it's paying off.
Yeah. These last several albums are all just amazing.
Man. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And this is something you mentioned in an interview, but when you watch Nibs live,
Yep.
he's like, his head's moving so fast that you can't even, it's just like a blur.
That's
which
why
is
I asked,
crazy,
I mean, no one, take some kid from some, 20-year-old kid in a death metal band. Nibs will fucking out headbang him any day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane.
In fact, he does it for like 30 seconds straight and then turns around and steps on the drum riser. And I'm like, if I did that, I would fall on my ass from dizziness.
Yeah, I would go straight to urgent care.
Right.
But he can pull it off.
Yeah. All right. The Mighty Priest, of course, finished this thing off.
Yes, of course. I mean, only way they could.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've seen Priest.
2004.
Has it been that long? Wow.
Yep. Ozfest,
yeah.
Yep.
And they've had a lot of great music since then, especially Firepower, which we talked about when it came out. As we said here at the beginning of May, that's the album of the year so far.
Oh, man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so someone's going to have a tough time beating that this year.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot coming from me with the fact that COC and Machine Head have albums out.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so they played, what, 3 songs, was it? Or 4? 3 or 4 songs from the album.
Yeah, God,
the first 3.
The set list.
They played Firepower, Lightning Strikes, and Evil Never Dies.
Yes.
I can't remember if there was something else, but all those things came off perfect. And then the set, we knew it because they playing the same set every night.
Yes.
You can look it up. But they had several songs in there that I guess they haven't been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
Like Bloodstone, I think, and
Love
Saints in Hell.
Bloodstone, man. Yeah, Saints in Hell, they haven't, yeah.
And he mentioned that because this is the 40th anniversary of Stained Glass.
Wow.
What's the name of that album?
Stained Glass.
Stained Glass, yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah. So they played that in honor of that. And yeah, I mean, just a killer set list from, some people are going to say stuff about the fact that both guitarists are gone now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still have the original bass player, basically the original singer, even though I guess he wasn't the real original singer, but the singer of Judas Priest. Yeah. And then you've got the drummer's been there since the late 80s,
Travis
right?
has been there since, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. So
I mean, he played Painkiller, so he's been there since at least
92.
Yeah. But, so I mean, Faulkner and Sneap it sounds like Judas Priest.
I mean, it's an amazing tandem.
Yeah.
And I really think that you see when they talk about Richie Faulkner breathing life into the band and you see why. I mean, he's just such a great personality, and he's really took ownership, in the best and respectful way of his role in the band. And, you can see that he's very enthusiastic. It's great.
You almost see like he's the most upfront guy in the band. Yeah. In a live show. He's
really kind of, Halford's right-hand man in a way. You get that vibe.
And he's just, I don't know how to say it without sounding corny, but this dude is like he has the look, the feel, and he's a rock star.
Yes, he is. He definitely is.
And he's just like, when he's on stage, he's got the presence and everything, and he's badass.
Yeah.
And he's, like you said, he's enthusiastic, and, I mean, I was in the second row, dead right in front of where he was almost the whole show.
Yeah.
And he's always, like, acknowledging people. And he was even like trying to have like little conversations with people. I don't know if you noticed that from where you're from, and he was real. It wasn't just like fake, like some people look in the stands and point, they're not really pointing at anyone specific.
Yeah.
His was really acknowledging people. And there was even this girl like three seats down from us that took off her bra and threw it, and it landed right on his guitar.
Good Lord.
And he just like kind of laughed as it dropped, and then he threw a pick at her, and she never could catch him, and he threw it like 10 or 15 times. I think she finally got one, but
nice.
Everybody around her got picks.
Yeah, hey, it works out then.
Right. But yeah, so like you said, it breathed new life. Yes. And then, of course, what could be considered a highlight. Oh, what's that?
Yeah, Glenn Tipton coming out for the encore. Last 3 songs. That was epic, and it was legendary, and it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, and this interview that we have next week with Damon Johnson and Richie Ward.
Yes.
He's talking about Richie Faulkner, Ricky Ward. We asked at the end of it if Glenn Tipton was here, because he hasn't been at every single show.
Yeah.
But Damon said, he's here. He's doing the rest of the dates. Because there's only 4 more.
There was only 4, yeah.
And he said it's really cool how they bring him out, the production of it and all this. And he's like, you'll say Damon was right. That was badass. And he was right. It was badass. Yeah, fact that it was nothing other than a spotlight, and the guy walked out by himself.
Yeah. It was awesome the way they did it. And I really liked that Damon Johnson told us he didn't have to,
right? But yeah, there's great, of course, stage production, video stuff.
Screens.
They only had a few times where the band was even on the screens. There's always stuff kind of going like Sabbath did on their last tour and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the BOK, has always had a history of not sounding great sometimes, but where I was for this, all 3 bands sounded fucking massive.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I think by the time this airs, I'm pretty sure the tour's gonna be done. And I just gotta say, I really hope everybody saw it. If you didn't see this bill, you fucking missed out.
Sucks for you, buddy.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
But yeah, there you go. Judas Priest. They're going to be touring again later this year with Deep Purple.
Yeah, that's insane. That's going to be a great summer show.
I think the closest that's coming here is Kansas City. I'd really like to try to go to that, because that would be huge as well, to see definitely. Those 2 bands together. Well, before we get into this, I'll say, if this is your first time listening, we appreciate it. Hit us up at thethunderunderground.com, Facebook, YouTube, all that great stuff. But you got anything else you want to say before we get into this?
I think we're good.
All right, here's Biff Byford from Saxon. I thought that was you out there.
No, that's a virtual sound check.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, gotta go on the program, boys.
I like it.
So you prefer playing bigger places like this to smaller places, or does it really matter to you?
As long as they're full, we don't care. Our philosophy is just take it to the people.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
So you guys are playing, I think, 3 of the songs from Thunderbolt on this tour? Like how's that?
No, we're playing, sometimes we play 5.
Okay.
If it's a headline show, we play 7.
Okay. So are all the songs going over great live?
Great, really good, yeah. It's a really perfect tour for us, really, for this album. It's right on good point,
Yeah. And, you guys got Johan from Amon Amarth. Talk about how that came about. I think that song turned out really good with that.
Which one?
Predator.
We don't play Predator on the supports.
Mm-hmm.
We've played the songs now. We've found out which ones work, in bigger venues and which ones work in smaller venues. So so we're playing obviously Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
We're playing Secret of Flight. We play Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
They played Rock and Roll. Sons of Odin. Mm-hmm. And we sometimes play Sniper or Predator. One of the two.
Yeah.
It depends how much time we have, really.
So how do you do Predator live with those with Johan's vocals?
Nibs was it.
Oh, okay.
He's a pretty good singer, Nibs. So it sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that something you've?
We
That's
can't
the first
really
song
yell
you've
on
really
the
done.
pussy. One, he wouldn't do it, and two, there's no room.
Right. That's the first song you've done heavy vocals like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've done low vocals before on low harmony things, but featuring another voice. No, we've not done it before. I had the idea. Could have been a bad idea, could have been a good idea. Things like that are always a bit controversial with a band like Saxon, especially because we're, well known for just me singing melodic against the heaviness, But he was my first thought. Johan is a good man, good friend. We've done a lot of beer together. So, so drank from the horn. So, he did it, sent it us back, and we loved it. Yeah. So we left it on and just see what people think. It's one of them songs. People love it. Really do.
Yeah.
You've had Andy Sneap now for the last few records. Talk about just how comfortable that is and how he fits with you guys.
Well, I'll let Andy produce this album rather than me co-producing with him. So it gave me more time to spend on, doing band things and vocals, obviously, singing and arranging things. I probably wouldn't have come up with that idea for Johan if I'd have been co-producing because I probably wouldn't have had the time to get the idea in my head. So, it was great. He's great, Andy. He's really solid. You know what you're going to get with Andy, and he's not scared of trying new things. But he has a very... the moment is in this place where he has a very great connection with the 80s. He loves the 80s, and with a modern twist. So I think it works for Saxon. I mean, we've been doing it now for 6 years, 7 years. So I think he got to that point. He's done the same thing with Priest, basically. Not quite the same, but more or less the same. So, he's on a good roll.
Yeah.
I think maybe he learned quite a lot from doing Saxon, actually. To fine tune that method he got now.
Yeah.
Not so much with accept. He does accept, but they're not really, it's not wild, crazy stuff like we do sometimes. It's more, in the mid-beat there.
Yeah.
Is he one of those guys that'll tell you if he doesn't like something?
Yeah. When we talk, me and Andy talk a lot, through things a lot. We'll talk, when we first started, we don't rush writing. I take my time writing. So, while we're writing, I'm sending Andy stuff, we listen to things and me and him will decide which song we want to take forward. So he's quite involved with the album, you know what I mean? So, and if I didn't think he had a great opinion, then I wouldn't ask him, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So, he's well on it. And, But everybody, when you're making albums, there's always one or two tracks that go, whoa, I didn't think that would be that good. You know what I mean? It's like, once you get recording and people start performing and, I start formulating the melodies and things, it's some songs come racing forward that maybe were in the background when we first started,
Yeah. You guys have been pretty prolific with putting stuff out every couple of years. I think that's a great way to do it. And, being in America more than you have, I think talk about that a little bit. I think that's really cool.
Oh, about coming to America?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last 3 years, we've been coming quite a lot. I think it's paying off, I think we've sort of reactivated some of our older fans, obviously, who haven't seen us for a while, and we're bringing in a lot of new fans as well. So I think specifically in America, people want to see you. They want to see you live. They want to be entertained by a live band. They're not, they're not going to continue supporting you if you don't come here. So we decided to come here more. We have a new management and to do record cover things, so it allowed us to be able to come, in those first initial. Then, we did Motorhead, we did a few pre-shows, we did the UFO thing twice, we've done headline shows as well. So, we've been hammering it pretty hard, and I think it's paying off, Yeah. I mean, the album went in the charts, quite a lot of countries around the world, It was hovering under the Billboard charts. The thing is, we've sort of cut our nose off to spite our face because we're so great at releasing physical product now.
Yeah.
Over the years with the artwork and everything else, we don't hardly do any streaming. So we've concentrated on the solid stuff so much, vinyls and cassettes and packages and this. So we're just hovering under the American chart because we didn't get any streams. Everybody bought the physical product because, we've gone out of our way to do that.
Well,
the vinyls and cassettes especially,
Yeah. I mean, I got the cassette. I love having, something you can look at and stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm just saying, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just in America, you have to have a streaming as well, to get in the charts. But it's not all about the charts, it's how many albums you sell.
Yeah.
And this album's, apparently they tell me this album's the best-selling album since Crusader in America.
That's great.
So, which is really great. You know what I mean?
Well, you're putting out albums every 2 or 3 years when a lot of classic bands don't do that. Is there a reason to try to reintroduce yourself to like America?
The thing is, there are 6 or 7 bands, aren't there, that release albums regardless of whether they're going to be platinum or not.
Yeah.
We're not interested in, it's not really about, for us, it's not really about, being at the top of the charts anywhere. It's nice if you're in the charts, obviously, but it's all about how many people buy the record and how many people come see you live and just your profile generally. We deserve to be bigger in America, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And we're making strides to do that. Some people might think it's a bit late, but it's never too late, is it? Right. Really? Yeah. And we've proven that. And I think I read the article, the interview that the guy from Twisted Sister did, the guitarist, about we should all retire and everything. But there are a lot of bands out there that are out there. So they've got Scorpions, they're all putting albums out. Whitesnake put albums out, Motorhead put albums out, Maiden put albums out, we put albums out. For bands like us, and if you don't put albums out and you're just going out doing the odd shows, playing your big hits, then I can understand it being totally boring for people. Yeah. Because you can't tour it. You can't tour it constantly if you're just playing hits, because you can go every 2 years and play your hits right.
Yeah.
But you can't keep going back every 4 or 5 months, with a new, you can't do that.
Right.
So I think that, bands like Twisted Sister, they've retired, they've stopped, but they're damned to put another album out because they know it's not going to be platinum. So therefore, in their eyes, it brings down their profile, but in actual fact, it doesn't, because people never forget the hits. And actually, if anything, they get more credibility because they are playing the hits from the 80s and, whatever hits you have, plus the new stuff. So I think it rejuvenates a band. I think you get a new audience in, people like it. Obviously, they have to be good albums.
Yeah.
there's no point releasing a piece of shit because that won't work.
Right.
You know, you have to have a great album. You know, you can't polish a turd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. The album has to be of a certain quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's loads of bands. You know, I mean, you know, I haven't answered that guy, but you know, silly little man, really. But you know, he didn't mention me, he didn't mention Scorpion, he didn't mention Whitesnare, he didn't mention Van Halen. You know, he didn't. You know, it's just silly.
Yeah.
Silly, not even worth mentioning.
Why should you?
I mean, Dee Snider, he's still touring, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on.
Well, why should you retire? If people are going to show up, and you know, we all love doing this. I mean, why not? I mean, why would you? You know,
Well, I just think it's your personal choice, you know.
Yeah.
And it's nobody else's business, actually.
Yeah.
What I want to do or what the guitarist wants to do. If a guitarist wants to say, I've had enough, then he's had enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he goes home and, I don't know, you know. I don't know what the guy, you know, JJ, what they call him. He's going to sit on the porch on his rocking chair with his pipe and slippers and fade away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're not of that, you know. We're fucking Vikings. We're not of that.
There you
We
go.
don't.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't do that shit.
Well, you've been doing this for over 40 years. Like, how do you maintain that voice throughout the years?
You have to look after your voice. I don't do anything special. I don't do any training or anything, any warm-ups. You know, today there's no sound check. And this is my warm-up, really, talking. So I just go on and do it, really. And from experience, learn how to work your voice. You know, it's. I mean, you have to keep. You have to keep fit in a stamina sense. You know, there's no point looking like you know, The Rock. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you have to have stamina is the key to doing the long tours.
Yeah.
You know, not sort of you know, physical strength. It's like about stamina and keeping yourself fit. You know, fit in the sense of, you know, be able to go stupid on stage.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, talk about, you know, there's always some themes of aircraft and, you know, that kind of thing. I think that's kind of cool. Was that kind of a passion of yours, or how did that seep into some of the
Well, I'm a man. We like them things.
Yeah.
You know, I like things that men like.
Yeah.
You know, and girls like it as well.
Yeah.
You know, women like it as well. So that's what I do. You know,
Nice.
I don't write songs. I don't write lyrics about, you know, being in and out of love. I don't do that. You know, tried it a few times, it failed miserably. So I don't do that. So for me, it's a more physical thing. I write about fast cars, fucking trains, planes, spacemen, flight,
Yeah.
Dracula, you know, roadies. You know, I'm a history buff. You know,
Yeah.
I like that sort of thing, and I quite like and I like dragons and shit. I like all that stuff. What can I say? I'm a man. You know, that's what I write about. You know, it could be all our albums could be a game. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Romans, you know, Vikings.
What's your favorite era of history as a history buff?
My favourite period.
Era, yeah.
Well, I've covered a lot of periods. You know, it's. I think. When they were all must have been pretty awful. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, all the sort of you know, the Crusader times and, you know, the wars that we've been through. You know, I mean, I've never been in a war. I wasn't born in a war, but you know, it's just a mind thing. It's just what comes in my head. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe my brain's too developed. I don't know. Too developed into history and not into anything else. I don't know, but I'm not nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
But I love history. You know what I mean? I don't yearn to be back in the 80s, for instance, like some bands do.
Yeah.
You know, it's gone. And we had a fucking fantastic time. We moved on. But I will sing about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's, I suppose that's my way of going back there, you know.
Yeah.
Like the new Motorhead song we've done.
Yeah.
You know, it's about 1979, which, you know, for people in England, it wasn't a great time. There was a lot of problems, you know, a lot of riots, a lot of police things, a lot of things going on, especially in the north of England. You know, if you watch the video, the video we shot, the lyric video of they played rock and roll. It's pretty much how it was, you know. You know,
Yeah.
the youth, you know, loads of young people, and the police didn't like it, the government didn't like it, they didn't like people in big groups of people, getting crazy. So that's really, they were trying to put it down. So we came out of that, you see.
Yeah.
All that Never Surrender, Backs to the Wall, all those type of songs are all about that, about being repressed.
Yeah.
We're being repressed, as the Monty Python said. Help, help, I'm being repressed.
Well, you mentioned all the different themes, and you always have a ton of different stuff going on. Have you ever considered doing like a concept album?
Say again?
Have you ever considered doing a concept album?
We have considered it. We got bored halfway through it.
Okay.
So you have to have a great concept, and there are so many great bands doing that, we'll... You know what I'm saying? I love prog music. It's a big favourite of mine. But to do a concept album, people perceive it to be prog then. And just doing a few twiddly guitars between the songs for me is not a concept album. You know what I mean? It has to have a theme through it. We could have done a war concept. That's big enough. The First World War, that's a big enough concept.
Right.
You could do, a sort of, if it was a history concept, or you could do like, a sci-fi thing. That would work as well. There's so many great bands, I'm a big fan of Byford and that type of band, and, I don't know if our guitarists are prog guitarists, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Writing that type of thing. You have to have musicians that are really totally, obsessed with that sort of thing, taking you to different levels of tempos and moods and things. I'm not saying they couldn't do it. I'm just saying that I don't think where they are, they've thought about doing that. It's me that's thought about doing it, not them. Yeah. So, but you have to have people really on board with it, to make it great, I think,
Definitely.
So I wanted to ask you about Nibs. I'll see videos and stuff. What are you going to do if his head just flies off one day?
I don't know, really. We'll just take his head on tour on a spike.
I mean, it is going sometimes.
Yeah, he goes for it, And he keeps himself in fit state,
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't booze as much now as he used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
We seem to have taken over from him. I don't know why. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, we appreciate your time.
Thanks for time.
Oh, is that done?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There you go, Biff Byford from Saxon. A huge thank you to Doug Weber from New Ocean Media for setting that up, and a thank you to Jason Engel, Saxon's tour manager, for his help as well.
Definitely.
And of course, a huge thank you to Biff for sitting down with us for 20 minutes. That was
huge, gigantic thanks.
A big thing for both of us. I know,
it really was.
Both been big fans for a long time, and this guy is a legend.
Yes. Of
the heavy metal and hard rock world that, like I mentioned earlier, people in America need to wake the fuck up.
They do. They really need to they need to get with it.
Yeah.
You're right. This is your call, people.
Yeah.
Your
call to arms.
Fucking head out. Yeah, call to arms. Which is a great Saxon record.
I hope JJ French is listening to this episode right now.
He fucking better be.
Do you want to give your thought on that? Or not really, because it's kind of what Biff said.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what I said. And we've said this before on other past episodes when we're talking about other bands. If people are going to fucking show up, why not?
Right.
Whether we like the band or not, who cares? If people are going to show up and it's what you want to do, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Who cares how old you are or what other people think? Fuck all that.
I know there's weird situations like with Quiet Riot or something where it's just the drummer, but at the same time, it's his band as much as it was anyone's.
Yep. And that's what I say. It doesn't matter what I think about it or not.
Yeah.
If people are going to show up, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Corner doesn't have any original members, and we've talked about that before, but they still sell out places. So
yeah. More power to them, whatever.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're listening to this and you like Saxon, we've had on a lot of people. I'm trying to think of people that would directly relate to Saxon type music, but we've had on stuff that's like, way heavier than that, but then we've had on the glam stuff or the 80s stuff as well. But we've had on guys from, of course, two of the members from Kiss,
Yes.
Bruce Kulick and Gene Simmons.
Dave Ellefson, Megadeth.
Yeah, Chris Broderick, formerly of
Yes.
Megadeth. We've had on guys from COC, Shinedown, Seven Dust, Death Angel, Warrant, Europe, Saving Abel.
Overkill.
Yeah, there you go. I bet Saxon fans like Overkill.
Definitely.
Sid Falk has been on here. Great interview. Which, by the way, he's had some, recently had surgery, heart surgery, I believe.
Yes.
And he's recovering, so best of wishes to him.
Definitely good vibes go to Sid.
And, who else? Shooter Jennings.
Jennings, Miss May I. We've had guys from King, Spirit Caravan, The Obsessed, Crowbar, Richie Cavalier from Insight on Twice.
Yeah.
Scattered Hamlet.
Scatter Hamlet's been on here 3 times, and
About to be a 4th.
yeah, we also have recorded an interview with Adam Jode.
Yes.
So that'll be coming up here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, look forward next week. We're going to have Black Star Riders on, Damon and Ricky.
Yeah. That one's a great one.
Yeah. Oh, man. Definitely. Talk about a couple of class acts.
Yeah. And if you like Saxon, you probably like Anvil.
Oh, yeah. We've had Anvil on. Definitely.
Yeah. Lips was on here, and he had some interesting stuff to say as well.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, all that stuff is at soundcloud.com/Thunder-Underground. You can listen to it pretty much anywhere podcasts are heard. You can also listen to it at thethunderunderground.com. We're on Facebook, /TheThunderUnderground. YouTube and Instagram is also at The Thunder Underground. We're also on Twitter, THNDRUNDR Ground. Find us on Patreon, Thunder Underground. Become a patron.
Do it.
Yeah, we would appreciate it. Everything helps,
That's right.
Because a lot of stuff goes into this, with all the hosting and SoundCloud, the websites, and all this great stuff that goes on. So we appreciate any help. And then, once again, thank you to our new sponsor, DB Concerts. Follow them on Facebook on the Streets Gone Wild page.
Definitely.
Just look up Streets Gone Wild. That's where they update all the upcoming shows that we mentioned earlier, like Striper, Faster Pussycat, Steelheart, Visto Blanco. I think that's everything, right?
Yeah, I think that's all you need to know.
There you go. All right, well, let's get out of here. Till next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.